We really need to talk about a complete agri-food system that goes all the way from input through production, processing, marketing channels to consumers. So that whole value chain, but also framed within a context of the resources that sustain that productivity and that value chain, and also considering the waste flows from it. So actually moving very close to kind of a circular economy.
Government agriculture policies around the world are still very focused on staple grains. But I think there is a movement to look beyond staples. There's a movement towards diversification.
The things that make up a healthy diet are increasingly in demand. And so the CG needs to respond to that changing demand, which is increasingly in low-income countries, and figure out how can those countries meet that demand through the lens of agricultural research.
To solve the problems that we are faced with today in terms of sustainability, in terms of nutrition, in terms of social engagement, we need different types of technologies. We need knowledge-intensive technologies.
We want to overcome the problems of malnutrition, and that will require a complete different thinking that is not just about productivity gains.
If you want to address rural poverty, means increasing income. Income is labor productivity, it's not land productivity, and so it requires a different approach. The key challenge there is that the research environment is very much set up to increase yield. That's kind of the norm that everybody compares things to. And so the incentives of the researchers will need to be changed. To a certain extent, the testing needs to be changed in order to reach different types of objectives.
The challenge is bigger, and that's what perhaps is a time for change in the breeding mindset.
CGIAR'S system can play a role both in the development of crops and in the regulation, because if we don't have regulation approval, then this technology is going nowhere.
The CG also has a big influence in some areas in international policy arenas, such as climate change and also SUN, the Scaling Up Nutrition.
Remember, the CG includes policy-focused research, and a lot of demand creation comes from the policy side, appropriate policies that reward investments in production of nutrient-rich foods.
And I think a key role for the CGIAR is in brokering both to the upstream, to the advanced research institutes, and also making the links into the downstream.
The CGIAR has been working together with the NARS, but not much with the African universities. And African universities are changing. There are a lot of young researchers which are able or have the potential to contribute toward the research gaps. And the CGIAR can support them to realize this potential.
So the way I see the CG evolving is to become a knowledge broker and to partner very strategically.
And I find it really exciting to the concept of a system that is not focusing just on one crop or just focusing on livestock, but is looking at what smallholder farmers have to do, which is lots of different things. And too often, if you're just focusing as a scientist on one crop, you're not understanding the context in which your research is going to be put into practice.